Greetings, friends, family, and survivors. Well, what are you looking at? That is a towable array, towed array. And if you're in the Navy, that means something completely different. This solar array is going to buy us some time up on the mountain. There's such a short period of time when we can work up there. I knew that I was going to need some power right away for the well and to run skill saws and that sort of thing. And I knew I couldn't just take a solar panel and set it on the ground. You know, the wind's going to kick up and it's going to cartwheel across the yard. So I needed something that I could just pull up and run 2 wires over to the charge controller, hook it up, and go. Of course, I'll drive a ground rod too. So this will be our power for the well while we're in the building process. So we put it on our little quad trailer that we made, and I commissioned Dad with the project. I said I want to build it out of Unistrut, told him what I wanted to do, and he came up with this clamping mechanism. Of course, he had to lay the whole thing out on a drawing table because, you know, down to the thickness of every bolt was 3/8, because that's what we get locally for the spring nuts for the Unistrut. So he drew it up on a drawing table, and exactly perfect. Then he came up with these brackets and these guys. So he cut all the pieces and I just welded where he told me to weld. So the idea is we'll haul this thing flat, and the way it's set up, that when you pick it up, and Dad and I picked it up easily, when you pick it up, these posts, they're lying down there parallel to this when it's down, and as you pick it up, they slide across the floor and they lock in right there, and then they bolt right there. So then when I get there, we welded some mounts for some outriggers. There's an outrigger there. That's what those guys are, one on the far corner. And the idea is I'm going to take a piece of 3-inch pipe and drill some holes in it and string some rebar through it, set it down into a hole, and concrete it in with a 2-inch ball welded to the top of it. And that'll lock that tongue. And it does two things. It provides security because it is a towable array, right? So that the solar array will be locked to that hitch. And it'll also be a stabilizing point right there for the wind. Now, most of our wind oriented to this panel, that's obviously south, plus your declination. Most of the wind is going to come from that way and that way. Pretty much from the southwest to the northwest. Almost nothing is going to come from the north, and nothing from the east that's substantial. The big winds, the gusts to sustained winds of 50 and gusts higher than that, yeah, those are a problem, but I don't think they will be from the west. So if it looks like I'm having a problem, I'll just lower the thing on the ground. So we don't want to do this twice, so when I'm ready to make the permanent array, I'll just use this and we'll just make a permanent mount for it. But I'm considering leaving it adjustable for tilt. That's kind of a cool idea, especially in the wintertime. It's nice to just about stand the panels up. So Dad did a great job, designed the whole thing, cut all the pieces, drew it all up, and he brought all the solar panels in and bolted them down, and then I just came in and wired it. So sitting back here, pointing that way, reflecting off the back wall, I was getting 85 volts per string. So there's 2 strings of 5, and I don't remember what the open circuit voltage is. I'd have to look. What does that say? Open circuit 22.5. So it's 22.5 times 5, and that'll be each string. And these are going on a midnight. No, these are going on an Outback FlexMax 60. So no problem there. We're way under 150 volts, even with the 20% deration. So we should be good. So just about finished with this. I was getting ready to put in a new proportioning valve in the truck, and I realized I got, 3 out of the 5 brake lines broke loose, and I just knew that if I pushed it, I'm going to round over those nuts on the hydraulic line. So I just stopped. Nothing's rounded over. I'm just going to have to go to town and get a 7/16 tubing wrench and a 1/2 inch tubing wrench, and then they'll come right off of there. And if nothing else, the truck's teaching me patience. So I did fire up the tank, and it wasn't pumping. So I pulled the pump and realized that the last people that had it had the head really loose, and it was just flopping around. And that loosened up the draft pipe. So I just pulled the draft pipe out and put some sealant on the thread, threaded it back in, and in 1/10 of a second it was pumping over 10 gallons a minute, just running great. So that's going to be really good. That might be why they sold it. They thought the pump was bad. I don't know. All it needed to do is stop sucking air and it run fine. Okay, hope everybody's doing well. Have a blessed day.